All right, here we are. It is Sunday. I'm getting ready to go to the gym. But I want to touch on something very quickly first, and that is a video that Jason Blaha has made. Now, listen, Jason Blaha is kind of like the guy that you almost love to hate. I think hate's too harsh a word in my case. I definitely don't have any hate for the guy whatsoever. I watch his videos. I think he's entertaining. Enough said. But a lot of times he slips into his character, and it's hard to differentiate between his shtick when he's doing his character or when he's really delivering what he believes to be honest, credible, solid information. Sometimes this stuff, there's some crossover, some overlap between the two, and it makes it difficult for people to really determine, in my opinion anyway, that either this guy must be a fucking nut to believe that and know absolutely nothing, or in the next thing he does, you look at it and say, this guy's pretty sharp, he's pretty smart, he's on the ball. I mean, literally, it goes from one extreme to the other extreme. So you don't know when to really take him seriously or when not to take him seriously. I really do believe with all my heart that he makes some videos just because he thinks they're going to be very controversial topics and it works for him. So, who's to say, you can't say he's doing anything wrong, he's successful and it's working for him. But just for you guys out there that watch this and you want to subscribe to his training practices and believe that it's going to deliver you someplace near success, you need to have a realistic handle on what success you're after, because I'm sorry, Jason, and I'm not trying to be harsh on you, brother. I swear to God I'm not trying to be hard on you. But, what you know and what you demonstrate are two different things. Or they can be two different things. And if what you think you know doesn't prove itself in the real world, then you don't really know it. And I'm sorry, there's no defense. I mean, I don't want to piss you off. I'm not trying to hurt your feelings. I'm not trying to be rude. I'm not trying to be mean, because I honestly don't do that here. I'm not trying to be that. But you talk a lot of shit for the physique that you display. And for just having recently lost, 40 some pounds? All that muscle that you said that you've always had, where is it? Where is it? I mean, I know your defense is, I'm not a bodybuilder. No, really, if you had a certain percentage of muscle to begin with, and it was a fairly, at least some elite level of development, and you lost 40 some pounds, whether you want to be a bodybuilder or not, you're basically going to start to look more like one. You're going to be shapely, you're going to be aesthetic, you're going to be more pronounced delineation, etc., etc. So I don't know. I'm not trying to be mean to you, bro. I swear I'm not. But the latest thing is, in fact, I'll tell you this: if you would follow some of my advice with dieting, you look a hell of a lot better. Because if you had all that muscle, you wouldn't have lost it all. And I know you got DEXA scans, you got this, you got that, but again, you've always got something on paper. But what do you got in real world, real life? And this goes to this calf thing, man. This assertion that squats are number one exercise, it's all you need to do, it's the greatest way to build calves. Bullshit. Bullshit. Maybe a genetically elite guy that's inclined to have big calves just from walking up steps or doing anything in general life, he has big calves. He's going to squat and have huge calves. A guy like Andrew Castor, for example, a dude that already has 20, 21-inch calves at 22 years old, 23 years old. That just has the calves are a monster. His legs are monsters, but just has these monster calves, right? But for most people, more than most, I mean, for 85% of the people out there, 90% of the people out there, you can squat all day long. You can squat until the cows come home. You're never going to develop a set of calves like that. You're not going to have any real sincere development. Now, I know Jason thinks he's got calf development or whatever, and I don't see that. I don't see that. I mean, it's like the invisible muscle. I don't see that. So my calves, I'm anybody that knows me knows that in my heyday, I attributed my extreme leg development. My legs were like one of my best body parts. I attributed that development to squats. But ass to grass squats. Move my feet a little closer, ass to grass. Once I started doing that, I used to squat wider to depth. But once I started moving my feet in, going ass to grass, I did it for a number of reasons. But one of the paydays from that is that I achieved greater overall leg development. I mean, I had decent calves, but they weren't good. They weren't good by any stretch of the imagination. But a lot of guys don't have good calves. I had decent calves. When my calves got good, like today, my calves are better than they've ever been. And I don't squat like that anymore. I don't do any of the heavy duty shit that I used to do of the big three that, those used to be staples. I used to do them too. I'll tell you what, you'd be really hard pressed to find a guy that did more. I mean, you're going to find guys that did as much, but they were elite level guys, whether they're powerlifters, strength athletes, or bodybuilders. I was right there in the mix. I did lots and lots of the big three. Lots. I was firm believer, on the benefit of that, and it showed. It showed. I was, just over 300 pounds and dense as shit and very muscular and not really fat. Not really much fatter than I am right this minute, And right now I'm, like 251, which I think is too heavy for me at this age, but it kind of crept up on me. And that's another video. But today I have better calf development than I've ever had. And what I did was I stepped the calf workouts up in frequency. I work my calves almost every time I go in the gym. Almost every time. I would say if I go into the gym 4 times in a week, I work the calves 3 times. At least. Sometimes all 4 times. And I work them from different angles. Sometimes, I work one at a time. Sometimes I work them both in unison. I do the seated 90-degree movement. I do a variety of movements. I have a standing calf raise machine in the garage, which I think, in my opinion, standing calf raises are the weakest way to train your calves. I know that Arnold would probably disagree. But then again, you have that genetic thing and different bone structure and every other thing and insertion points, so we're still different. But as far as just squats, man, I was a huge squatter. I mean, it built everything in my legs. And if you only squat and you depend on that to develop your calves, are you going to have better calves? Probably, but not everybody. Not everybody. You just saw Rooster's video that I posted, last week, right? That 640 squat. There's a kid that squats all the time. He's not a kid, he's a man, but comparable to my age group. He's still a youngin'. He squats a lot, all the time, frequency-wise. Basically, he has no real calf development. I mean, what he has is hard. But it's not very much. It's not very much. So everybody's different to begin with. And I think I fall into the category of one of them guys, though I have pretty good calves right now. I think I'm one of those guys that probably used to believe that I can't develop calves really. I mean, they were okay, but I mean, that was a lot of work, a lot of squats, a lot of everything. But when I really started to do more isolation work on the calves, and I started to just train them as their own body part and up that frequency and intensity, they grew. Then they started to grow. But all the squats in the world never delivered my calves to where they are today. Never. So I'm going to call bullshit. I don't care. Once again, there's theoretical knowledge and there's practical real-world knowledge that works in application. You can apply it. You can see the results. You can reproduce it in real world, in a real world. It's going to benefit you in the real world. I'll guarantee you this. If you think squats alone are going to build your calves, either you're in a very small elitist percentage of people that'll work for, or if you're just like most people who can build calves, but that's not going to get you there. Will they be better than if you never squatted? Maybe, probably, maybe. Are they going to be something that people are going to look at and actually say, wow, you got good calf development now? Hell no. Come on, man. Get real. Keep it real. But if you disbelieve that, I mean, he's got a bunch of viewers out there. If you disbelieve that, then you go ahead and you do that. You go ahead and you keep on doing that shit. You subscribe to that type of mentality. You go ahead and you squat and you depend on that for your calf development. And hey, if it makes you happy, then nobody can knock it anyway, right? Anyway, that's all my inputs about. Is I just wanted to say you're not going to build bullshit, horse shit. Don't care what test shows what. You know, how much fiber activation. I don't want to hear this bullshit. There's what there is in reality, and there's what there is on paper. And again, on paper, what? Bumblebee can't fly, right? Seem to fly pretty well in the real world. Anyway, you guys take care. I got to get to the gym. Have an awesome Sunday.